Before streaming platforms, before viral videos, before the endless scroll of modern entertainment, there was television in its purest form. Families gathered around a single glowing screen. Living rooms fell quiet as theme songs began. Characters walked into our homes week after week, slowly becoming part of our lives. They weren't just actors. They were the voices that filled our evenings, the faces that made us laugh after long days, and sometimes the characters who felt more familiar than our own neighbors. From the golden age of the 1950s to the glossy television empires of the 1980s and beyond, these performers didn't simply act in popular shows. They created moments that shaped television history. Some played heroes, some made us laugh until we cried. Others became villains so unforgettable that audiences loved to hate them. But one thing connects them all. They gave life to characters that refused to fade with time. Today, we're taking a journey through television history, revisiting the legendary actors and actresses whose performances became part of pop culture forever. Some of these stars are still with us today, living quieter lives after decades in the spotlight. Others have left us, but their characters still live on in reruns, streaming libraries, and the memories of millions of fans. These are the faces that built television, and their stories are just as fascinating as the roles that made them famous. Let's begin. Geena Davis, a star who redefined success. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, one actress was everywhere in Hollywood. Her name was Geena Davis. She won an Academy Award for her performance in The Accidental Tourist. Soon after, she became part of one of the most iconic female-led films ever made, Thelma and Louise. The film was groundbreaking. It told the story of two women taking control of their lives in a male-dominated world. When Hollywood changed, despite her success, the roles offered to Geena Davis began to decline as she grew older. This is a reality many actresses in Hollywood face. While male actors often continue receiving major roles well into their later years, women are frequently pushed aside once they reach a certain age, turning fame into activism. Instead of disappearing completely, Geena Davis transformed her career into something new. She founded the Geena Davis Institute on Gender in Media. The institute studies how women and girls are represented in movies and television. Today, Geena Davis is not just remembered as a Hollywood star. She is also known as one of the most important voices advocating for gender equality in media. Jennifer Grey, fame after Dirty Dancing. Few films from the 1980s remain as beloved as Dirty Dancing, and at the heart of that film was one unforgettable performance by Jennifer Grey. Her role as Baby made her instantly famous. Audiences adored her charm, vulnerability, and natural acting style. For a moment, it looked like Jennifer Grey would become one of Hollywood's biggest stars. But something unexpected changed everything. The surgery that changed her career. After the success of Dirty Dancing, Grey decided to undergo nose surgery. In Hollywood, cosmetic procedures are common, but in Jennifer Grey's case, the surgery dramatically changed her appearance. Even she later admitted something heartbreaking. She said she felt like she had walked into the operating room a celebrity and walked out anonymous. The unique look that audiences once recognized instantly was suddenly gone. Casting directors no longer saw the same familiar face. A career that quietly slowed down. Jennifer Grey continued acting in television and film, but the massive momentum she once had was difficult to recover. She eventually reintroduced herself to audiences decades later by winning the dance competition show Dancing with the Stars. Her victory reminded fans that talent never disappears, even when fame fades. Brooke Shields, a childhood star, who grew up in public. Few actors experience fame as early in life as Brooke Shields. She became famous as a teenager through the controversial film The Blue Lagoon. Soon afterward, she became one of the most recognizable models and actresses of the early 1980s. The pressure of early fame. Growing up in the public eye was not easy. Brooke Shields later spoke openly about the emotional pressure that came with early fame. Reinventing her career. Instead of disappearing, Shields gradually reinvented herself through television, theater, and writing. Her story is not about vanishing completely, but about learning how to adapt and grow beyond childhood stardom. Daryl Hannah, from Hollywood icon to environmental activist. Another unforgettable face from 1980s Hollywood belongs to Daryl Hannah. She became famous through films such as Blade Runner and Splash. Her unique look and mysterious screen presence made her stand out immediately. A different path. As the years passed, Hannah became increasingly focused on environmental activism. Instead of pursuing constant film roles, she dedicated much of her time to raising awareness about climate change and environmental protection. Living outside the Hollywood system today, Daryl Hannah still occasionally acts, but she is far more known for her activism and advocacy. Her life shows that fame can evolve into something bigger than movies. Jennifer Connelly, the rare star who endured. Finally, there is the story of Jennifer Connelly. Unlike many of her contemporaries, Connelly managed to successfully transition from child actress to respected dramatic performer. Her early fame came from films like Labyrinth, but she later won the Academy Award for her powerful performance in A Beautiful Mind. Longevity in a difficult industry. Hollywood is famous for discarding stars once trends change, but Jennifer Connelly's career proves that with strong performances and smart choices, some actors can remain relevant for decades. Barbara Feldon, the brilliant agent. 99 few television characters combined intelligence, elegance, and subtle humor, quite like Agent 99 from the classic spy comedy Get Smart. At the center of that charm was Barbara Feldon, whose calm confidence helped elevate the show far beyond a simple parody. While the series often focused on the bumbling antics of Maxwell Smart, Agent 99 brought balance to the chaos. She was composed, clever, and quietly capable. The kind of character who could outthink villains while maintaining perfect composure. Barbara Feldon's performance was subtle but powerful. She didn't need exaggerated expressions or loud punchlines. Instead, she delivered humor through raised eyebrows, precise timing, and sharp intelligence. In many ways, Agent 99 was ahead of her time. During the 1960s, television rarely portrayed women as highly capable secret agents working alongside male partners as equals. But Feldon's character did exactly that. She wasn't simply Maxwell Smart's partner. She was often the one keeping the mission from collapsing entirely. Beyond Get Smart, Feldon also appeared in numerous television productions and stage performances. Yet Agent 99 remained the role that defined her legacy. Now in her 90s, Barbara Feldon lives a quiet and reflective life. She spends her time reading, meditating, walking through nature, and maintaining friendships with those who shared her extraordinary career. Her elegance has never faded, and for fans of classic television, Agent 99 will always remain one of the smartest characters ever written. Pamela Sue Martin, Dynasty's fierce Fallon Carrington. When the primetime drama Dynasty exploded onto television screens in the early 1980s, it quickly became a cultural phenomenon. The show delivered everything audiences loved: wealth, power struggles, glamorous fashion, and family drama on an epic scale. Among the standout characters was Fallon Carrington, portrayed by Pamela Sue Martin. With striking beauty and fierce emotional energy, Martin turned Fallon into a character audiences could never ignore. She was bold, complicated, ambitious, and sometimes unpredictable. Unlike many television daughters of the era, Fallon Carrington was not simply a supporting character in her father's story. She had her own ambitions, her own passions, and her own conflicts. Pamela Sue Martin gave Fallon a mix of vulnerability and strength that made her feel real, even inside the extravagant world of billionaire families. Before Dynasty, Martin had already built a reputation through the Nancy Drew Mysteries, where she played the beloved young detective solving puzzles and crimes. That role showcased her intelligence and charisma, while Dynasty allowed her to explore a much more dramatic and emotionally complex character. Today, Pamela Sue Martin lives a far more private life than she once did during television's golden age of primetime drama. But for millions of viewers who grew up watching Dynasty, Fallon Carrington remains one of the most memorable characters ever created in soap opera history. John James, the charming Jeff Colby. In the glamorous and dramatic world of Dynasty, romance was just as powerful as rivalry, and few characters embodied classic television charm quite like Jeff Colby, played by John James. Tall, confident, and effortlessly charismatic, John James brought an old-school leading man presence to the series. Jeff Colby was the kind of character audiences rooted for. Strong, loyal, and determined to hold his ground amid the endless power struggles of the Carrington family. His on-screen chemistry with other characters helped drive some of the show's most memorable storylines. Beyond Dynasty, John James continued to work across television and film, maintaining a career built on his calm screen presence and natural charm. Today, he lives a quieter life away from Hollywood's bright lights. On a peaceful farm in Cambridge, he spends time with family and enjoys the slower rhythm of life that contrasts sharply with the glamorous world that once made him famous. But for fans of classic television, Jeff Colby will always represent the confident elegance of the 1980s primetime era. Joan Collins, the Queen of Dynasty. If there was one character who truly ruled the world of Dynasty, it was Alexis Carrington. And the woman behind that unforgettable role was the legendary Joan Collins. With sharp wit, dazzling fashion, and an icy stare capable of freezing entire rooms, Collins transformed Alexis into one of television's most iconic villains. But Alexis wasn't simply cruel or ruthless. She was powerful. She was intelligent, and she knew exactly how to command attention whenever she entered a scene. Joan Collins understood the theatrical energy of the character perfectly. Every dramatic entrance, every cutting line of dialogue, every glamorous outfit became part of a performance that audiences eagerly anticipated. In many ways, Alexis Carrington helped redefine what television villains could be. She wasn't hiding in shadows. She stood proudly in the spotlight, and viewers loved every moment of it. Even today, Joan Collins continues to make public appearances, maintaining the elegance and charisma that made her a television icon decades ago. For fans of classic drama, Alexis Carrington remains one of the most unforgettable characters ever created. Kurtwood Smith, the tough love dad. Not every television legend came from glamorous soap operas. Some came from living rooms filled with laughter. In the hit sitcom That 70s Show, one character stood out for his unforgettable blend of sarcasm and tough love: Red Foreman. The man behind that character was Kurtwood Smith. With a deep voice, sharp expressions, and perfect comedic timing, Smith turned Red Foreman into one of television's most memorable fathers. He was strict, he was blunt, and his famous threats about putting someone's foot somewhere became legendary among fans. But beneath the gruff exterior was something deeper. Red Foreman genuinely cared about his family, even if he struggled to show it openly. Kurtwood Smith captured that balance beautifully, delivering a performance that mixed humor with surprising emotional warmth. Even decades after the show first aired, Red Foreman remains one of the most beloved sitcom dads ever created. Debra Jo Rupp, the heart of the Foreman family. If Red Foreman was the strict voice of the household, then Kitty Foreman was its heart. Played by Debra Jo Rupp, Kitty brought warmth, humor, and a little bit of lovable chaos into the family home. Her infectious laugh and bright smile made every scene feel welcoming and familiar. Kitty wasn't perfect. She could be dramatic, emotional, and sometimes hilariously unpredictable. But that was exactly what made her so relatable. Debra Jo Rupp's performance turned Kitty into one of television's most comforting maternal figures. Even today, fans of That 70s Show remember her joyful energy and gentle kindness. She proved that sometimes the most powerful characters on television are not the loudest or the strongest, but the ones who bring people together. Sara. The actress who stepped away in the 1980s, one young actress became instantly recognizable to movie audiences. Her name was Sara. She became famous for playing Sloane Peterson in the classic teen comedy Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The film became a cultural phenomenon, and Sara's role made her a familiar face to millions. But surprisingly, she did not continue chasing Hollywood fame, choosing a different life. Unlike many actors who fight to stay in the spotlight, Sara gradually stepped away from acting. Her film appearances became less frequent, and by the 2000s, she had mostly retired from Hollywood. Instead of pursuing constant fame, she focused on family life and creative writing. Her story is a reminder that sometimes stars do not vanish because of failure. Sometimes they simply choose a quieter life away from the cameras. Heather Locklear, fame, struggles, and comebacks. For television audiences in the 1980s and 1990s, one actress became a household name, Heather Locklear. She gained fame through hit shows like Dynasty and later the hugely popular Melrose Place. Heather Locklear's beauty and charisma made her one of television's biggest stars. Personal struggles. But behind the scenes, her life became increasingly complicated. Over the years, Locklear faced personal struggles involving relationships, legal issues, and health challenges. These difficulties sometimes overshadowed her acting career and kept her away from the spotlight. Attempts to return. Despite these struggles, Heather Locklear has made several attempts to return to acting. Her story is one of resilience, showing how fame can bring enormous pressure and how difficult it can be to rebuild after personal challenges. Pamela Anderson, fame beyond Hollywood. Few names from the 1990s became as globally recognizable as Pamela Anderson. She became famous through the hit series Baywatch. The show turned her into one of the most famous television stars in the world. Media attention and public scrutiny. However, Anderson's life was constantly followed by intense media attention. Personal controversies and public scrutiny sometimes overshadowed her acting career. A new chapter. In recent years, Pamela Anderson has surprised audiences by returning with new projects, including documentaries and memoirs that tell her story in her own words. Her journey reminds us that fame can be complicated, but reinvention is always possible. Hollywood has always been a place where dreams rise quickly, but it is also a place where fame can disappear just as fast. Some stars fade because of health issues, some because of personal struggles, and others simply choose a different path in life. But every one of these stories reveals the same truth. Behind every famous face is a human life, filled with challenges, choices, and unexpected turns. And sometimes the real story begins after the spotlight fades.